Okay. It is, oh my goodness, 2 minutes after 2 o'clock on Tuesday, November 21st. And here we are at Thriving Live with Gabrielle Senza. And I am just linking up the live stream to Facebook. Let's see if that works. Awesome. It is being live streamed. Super. Okay. Now I am excited to welcome you all to Thriving Live with Gabrielle Senza, happening almost every week, Tuesdays at 2 Eastern Time. And I am so excited about how things are developing here with this project. And 2024 is going to be a totally new experience for me and for anyone that tunes into Thriving Live. I will be focusing on a set series of topics. I will have occasional guests live on the show. Sometimes I guess maybe they'll be pre-recorded and added in if we can't schedule it. Anyway, I haven't quite worked that part out. So, and for now, I have some exciting things to share with you all. So here we go. Who am I? I am Gabrielle Senza. I'm an artist and an activist. I identify as a queer, non-binary creative activist and empowerment coach. And I have a passion for helping people connect to their own innate beauty and brilliance and wisdom. And I love doing that through one-to-one coaching, group programs, workshops, and public events. I have been doing this kind of work, creative engagement, and empowerment work since 2001. And I came to that basically through my own lived experience as an artist, as a person who has grown up in a world that isn't always safe and friendly. And along the way, I've learned a few things about how to recover, actually, how to heal from trauma, at least the things that have worked for me. And I love sharing those things. And as an adult, in the more recent times, I have also become certified as a coach and have learned a lot of beautiful, very, very effective processes, modalities that can help transform pain, suffering, angst, even phobias and overwhelm into like peace and freedom and joy and abundance. And it gives me so much pleasure to see that happening for the people in front of me. So I encourage you to think about it. Think about if that is something you would love to experience for yourself. And if so, you can reach out to me through my website, gabriellesenza.com. You can also reach out to me through the social media platforms, although I guess they don't always come straight to me. I find those message requests sometimes weeks or months later. So I apologize if that's happened to you. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. But anyway, I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and of course, as I mentioned, my website, gabriellesenza.com. So if you've ever worked with me before, you know that typically I like to start with a grounding practice first. And I usually refer to it as pleasure first because that just sounds like so much more fun, right? Let's do a short pleasure practice first. And today I will guide you through a very subtle body awareness pleasure practice. Okay. So if you're into that, I am so excited to share that with you. So here we go. I have my notes in front of me, so that's why I'm sort of looking all around here. And, trying to get them all organized so I can lead you through this. So first, whether you're sitting or standing, I invite you to just take a deep breath in, let it go. With each exhale, allow your body to relax more and more. And another breath in and out. Ideally, allow your exhales to be longer than your inhales. That helps settle your nervous system, lets your body know that you are safe in this moment and everything is perfectly okay in this present moment for you here now. So if that is true for you, go ahead and take another couple of long, slow, deep breaths, allowing your exhale to be longer than your inhale. So I like to count 4 in, hold for 2 or 4, and exhale 6. Inhale 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Beautiful. You can keep going with that breath, or you can just return to your normal breath. That is fine. So if you've been following me on social media or here, or I don't know, in public spaces, you know that I have been working a lot on creating art and content and educational materials around climate action, and specifically like art and climate action, because, I'm an artist and I'm an activist, and I love to do the two things together. Art has the power of speaking beyond words and being able to touch people at an emotional level, a visceral level, and it can convey ideas that sometimes words alone just can't always deliver as effectively. And it's something I really enjoy doing. And what I wanted to say about that is there will be, for 2024, a whole lot of new material that I've been working on creating, coming out into the world. I'll be featuring some of it here on the show, along with guests, as I mentioned earlier, and maybe sharing tips and affirmations and other creative approaches to taking action, and above all, taking care of yourself first. It took me a while to learn this. I had to hear it probably 100 times or more to really get it. And it was really through experiencing it more than hearing it. And that is, you can't really give from an empty cup, right? So we tend to, if you're like a light worker, a healer, a generous person, a kind, helpful soul, right? You maybe like me, have always wanted to just give and do and help and support and create spaces where people feel really seen, heard, supported, celebrated, understood. And what I finally understood in the fairly recent past is that I can do that. I mean, I can do that even from like a not fully resourced place. And I have actually done that for way too long. And what I found is that, looking for words for this, even though I could function at that level and serve a lot of people at that level with few resources, I found that since I didn't have a practice that could help me fill my own cup back up, it would, all that activity would leave me feeling really depleted and exhausted and anxious. And partly because I was often neglecting my own personal well-being, my professional practices, my financials. You know, I would sort of put everybody else's needs in front and first before my own. And then naturally, as you can imagine, I'd kind of run into some problems with that. You know, like if there were times when I couldn't pay my rent, why? Because I was so busy giving all my time away. You know, eventually it's like, that just doesn't go very well. It can, in fact, go terribly, terribly wrong. And while I might feel really fulfilled by being able to help the person in front of me, whoever it was that needed some support, I ended up feeling way worse about myself and who I was being in my own life as a mother, as a responsible business owner, you know, as as a person who has financial responsibilities, and then like discovering that, you know, they don't take care of themselves. It wasn't really a discovery. It was just a hard lesson to learn, I suppose. So yeah, I'm sharing a little more than I might typically feel comfortable doing, especially like on a public platform like this, both in Facebook and on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube. So, but there it is. So it is. I mean, I'm a human. I make mistakes, and we all do, and that's totally okay, right? They're steps on the path to doing what does work, finding out what does work. And we have loads of examples of inventors, famous people who had hundreds and thousands and even tens of thousands of mistakes or failures. And they couldn't have gotten to their fame, fortune, and brilliant innovations had they not been making all these mistakes along the way, because you have to find out what doesn't work until you figure out what does work. And I found that to be true, like not just in the invention world where people are creating new things, but also in terms of our own well-being, my own well-being, and things of that nature related to that. So, quick drink of water. So I wanted to share with you today a couple of different things. One is I have a climate meditation that has also some affirmations, and I would love to offer that to you today. You can take part as we move forward on the show today, or you can listen to it later, come back to it later, and go through it. And let's see how it goes. I have never done this on the show before. So let's give it a try. All right. Okay. So I'm going to use my notes right here in front of me, and I am with you, supporting you, and holding you through this meditation. Okay. So this uplifting, climate-related guided meditation can help people who are worried about climate change and to be able to overcome their fear and start taking simple climate actions that contribute towards creating a healthier, more sustainable future for all. And by visualizing positive actions and repeating positive affirmations, we can help build a sense of responsibility and agency in areas related to protecting the environment, sustainable living, cutting down our waste, all of that kind of stuff. So let's see how this goes. Join me if you feel inclined. First, find a quiet and comfortable place to sit or lie down. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And then exhale slowly. Take another deep breath in and exhale slowly. Imagine yourself standing in a beautiful forest surrounded by tall trees and the sounds of birds chirping. Take a moment to appreciate the beauty of nature around you. See whatever you dream of seeing, what you love to be surrounded by. As you stand in the forest, imagine that you're holding a small seed in your hand. This seed represents the positive actions you can take to help the environment. Now visualize yourself planting the seed in the ground. In the soft soil, you can move the soil with your fingertips. Dig a little hole for it, plant that seed in the ground, cover it over with that soft, moist earth. And watch as it begins to grow into a beautiful tree. This tree represents the positive impact your actions can have on the environment. Repeat the following affirmations to yourself. I can make a positive impact on the environment. My actions can help create a healthier, more sustainable future for all. I am grateful for the beauty of nature and committed to protecting it. I am taking positive actions to reduce my carbon footprint and protect the planet. Take a moment to visualize yourself taking some positive actions to help the environment. See yourself turning off the lights when leaving a room, unplugging your devices when you're not using them or charging them. See yourself remembering to bring your reusable bags and containers to the store, and perhaps even eating more fruits and vegetables, cutting down on meat, recycling, and using public transportation as just some of the examples. Feel free to imagine yourself doing any actions that support sustainability and protecting the environment. Repeat the following affirmations to yourself. I am making a difference by taking positive actions to help the environment. I am part of a movement working towards a better future for all. I am hopeful that together we can create a more sustainable and just world. I am grateful for the opportunity to make a positive impact on the environment. Take a deep breath in and then exhale slowly. Keeping your eyes closed, take a moment to appreciate this thriving tree you planted and that is growing right before your eyes and the wondrousness of the beauty around you. Repeat the following affirmations to yourself. I am committed to taking positive actions to help the environment. I can make a difference in the fight against climate change. I am part of a global community working towards a sustainable future. I am grateful for the beauty of nature and committed to preserving it. I am making conscious choices to reduce waste and conserve resources. Take a final deep breath in and then exhale slowly. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and return to this space. Notice how you're feeling in your body now that you've slowed down enough to listen and think about the words, maybe even hopefully repeated them, either in your head or aloud. And just notice how this feels in your body and in your mind. How do you feel right now? What thoughts do you have? And as you think those thoughts, what emotions come up? And as you allow yourself to feel those emotions, notice what other thoughts come up. And as you think those thoughts, notice what emotions come up. And again, allowing yourself to feel the emotions or any physical sensations that your body might be giving you, allowing that to be so, and noticing what the next thought that shows up is. And as you think that thought, notice what emotion comes up. You can keep going in this behavior, this practice or exercise of becoming aware of how your thoughts create emotions, how your emotions might trigger some thoughts, and how eventually, if you really allow yourself to experience feeling the emotion, and you allow yourself to think the thought without any self-judgment, criticism, feelings of like, oh my gosh, that's negative, I shouldn't think that way, or I shouldn't say that thing, or any of that. Don't censor it. Just allow the thought to be there. You can say it aloud or in your head, whichever you prefer. And then notice once it's said, if there's a new emotion or body sensation that comes up, and allowing yourself to attend to it, notice it. You don't have to change it at all. Just notice that it's there. And then notice what thought comes up that follows, and so on and so forth. So what's the thought? Think that thought. What's the feeling that comes? Feel that feeling. What's the thought that shows up? Think the thought. What's the feeling that comes up? Feel the feeling, right? Eventually, your thoughts are going to become, most likely, more positive, maybe more hopeful, more inspired. And your emotions will also begin to feel a little lighter, like they're shifting from like a heaviness or a doubtfulness or skepticalness to like, well, maybe it is possible. Well, maybe I can do that. Well, maybe this is a possibility, or I can do this, or I want to do that. And so paying attention to these things, these thoughts and these feelings, can really help you arrive into a higher state of consciousness, essentially, and where you're feeling better, right? A higher vibe. And I don't know if you've noticed this for yourself, but for myself, as well as, hundreds of thousands of people who have been writing about this, studying this, etc., we are able to make clearer decisions and take action much, much better when we are in a higher vibrational state, right? So I'm sure you've experienced when there's a conflict and the charge is really intense and you feel really like angry or really sad or really frustrated, or any of those feelings that just, or even a feeling of shame. Like, have you ever tried to take action from a place of being in shame? And how has that action worked out? Like, was it a good action in retrospect? Or was it like, oh, that was a total reaction and I shouldn't have done that? Or I showed up really poorly when I did that thing from that place of shame. So it's pretty well established that it's hard to make really good decisions for ourselves, for our well-being, for our soul, for our purpose, however you want to think of it, when we're in a lower vibrational state. So this might sound really woo-woo right now if you haven't been involved in learning about frequencies of emotion, frequencies. But if you think about music, there are frequencies in music, right? And you can even go online and start listening to, solfeggio tones. You can hear tones at the 528 hertz and, like all of these things. And notice, if you go and check it out, I love listening on YouTube. Notice how you feel, how does it change your state of mind? How does it change the energy in your space? Like, this is real scientific stuff. And it's also the invisible, just exactly the kind of invisible thing that I love researching. And so I wasn't planning on sharing this on today's show. However, since I'm thinking about it, I will. This totally relates to my, I'm trying to think of how to say it. It totally relates to my invisibility lab work and how many years of researching invisible things and talking with and collecting information from over 500 people about their experiences of when have they felt invisible, when have they wished to be invisible, what invisible things do they rely on, and where they feel most comfortable, where they feel most uncomfortable. All of these things are essentially data points that will be translated into music. So I'm going to turn all that data into sound and into a 23-part orchestral musical piece and performance with spoken word and music, with dance, movement, and possibly video as well as part of the whole installation and the whole performance experience. So why am I bringing that up now? It's because the way I'm translating the data that I've collected is to find the emotional frequency of their answers and then translating that into notes and sounds on the score. So that's how we got there. I was talking about raising our vibrational energy, our vibe, by paying attention to the thoughts we think and the feelings we're feeling. Also, I may have said this on the show before, and you may have heard this before. I will say it again, partly as a reminder to myself, that those of us who grew up not encouraged to share our emotions, to show our emotions, Some of us were even told that our emotions were totally not legitimate. And some parents would go as far as saying, you're not angry, you're not sad, don't cry, don't do this, you have nothing to cry about, or worse, right? And so it's no wonder that so many humans have a hard time identifying what we're feeling or even allowing ourselves to feel them. And I know I've said this on my show in the past because one of my favorite mentors taught me this. People, the goal is not to get to just feel better. Like, oh, I feel really crappy. I feel really angry. I want to feel better. What can I do to feel better? Sure, everybody wants to feel better, right? Who doesn't? However, if we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotion and feel the feelings, then instead what we're doing is repressing them. We're tamping them down or closing them down. And I can't tell you how many people I have talked to or read or heard in interviews say that they would just lock those feelings down and keep them tight inside and try never to show them. And of course, that doesn't really work because ultimately it's going to come out somehow, and sometimes it comes out in productive ways, and often it comes out in unintentional ways, like snapping at their child or at a coworker or their partner or starting fights or whatever it is. Why? Because they're not allowing themselves to feel the feelings. Why do we not allow ourselves to feel the feelings? Well, often, for me anyway, and for many, many others, it's because we were ashamed about having feelings, and B, since we never really were allowed to feel them, we don't really know what it's like to feel them, right? And that can be really scary because it's so unfamiliar. But here's the good news. An emotion moves through the body at a maximum of 90 seconds, I believe. There's a study that shows how long does a feeling or an emotion last in the body in its natural course? Like a thought comes in, I feel shame, or I might feel anger or frustration, and then it leaves. Like it comes in and it leaves. And this is really good news because guess what? We can survive a feeling that lasts 90 seconds, right? It might even be less than that. I'll have to look up that study again, that finding, to find out. But you get the idea. It's not going to last long, and we can survive it. I remember feeling like I'm afraid to open up about the things that are really bothering me because I'm afraid I will never stop crying. I'm afraid I won't be able to go back into my world, into life, and live my life, or take care of my child, or any of these things that are really important, because I'm afraid my feelings, and I'm afraid my feelings are going to take me down. Like my feelings are going to kill me or disable me permanently. Well, guess what? That doesn't happen. I don't think that ever happens. We can perpetuate a feeling. We can keep it going by continuing to feed it with more thoughts. And that takes some effort. It takes effort to keep that thought and that feeling alive in the body. You can practice it. You can practice it. Also, it's one of the things I love so much to work with people on. And if we had more time today, I would do a quick exercise of feeling these two opposite feelings, like feel anger and really allow yourself to feel into it, and then take a breath and let that go, and then feel the opposite of anger. What is that for you? Is it like ease or joy even? So then you allow yourself to really feel joy. And then you take a breath, let it go. Intentionally go back and feel the anger. Feel anger. Feel it as strongly as you can. And then notice what's happening in your body as you're trying to access the feeling of anger again. It might come right to you, but it might not. It might have to fish around for it for a bit. It's okay. Take your time, feel it as fully as you can, and even magnify it. I notice for me, I get really tight in my stomach, and my breath gets much shorter, and I feel much more tensed up when I'm feeling that feeling of anger. And there's a little bit of like fear and like, ugh. And then take a breath, let it go, and feel back into joy. What does joy feel like? I feel more relaxed. I feel more open. I feel more peaceful. I feel happier. Cool. Okay, so take a breath, let that go. And if I were coaching you through the session, we would go back and forth. We'd feel the two of them at the same time, anger and joy. Feel anger, 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 and joy, joy, joy. And then on your exhale, notice what happens between them. And then we go back and forth again, feeling anger really fully, feeling joy really fully, back and forth, back and forth. And then another merging of the two. And sometimes within the first round, very often within the second round. And for some people, it takes a little longer because we're more attached to like, I want to hold on to the joy longer, or I don't want to experience the anger. I don't want to go back to anger, that's all natural. Of course, it's just sort of how we're conditioned. And the whole purpose of what I'm telling you today is that we can survive it. And not only can we survive it, it is the path to greater freedom, greater emotional freedom, greater joy, greater happiness, greater ease, greater abundance, greater connection with people that matter to you, greater connection even with your customers and clients if you're in business, or or if you work in a business. So there's so many ways that reaching this kind of elevated state or higher vibrational state, whatever you want to call it, using these techniques that I just love teaching, and I guide people through the whole experience of it, can really change your life and change it for the better. So if you want to get into my calendar, I have opened up a few spots in my calendar for a free 30-minute one-on-one ninja coaching session where I can help clear any anxiety, fear, or other, unwanted states. We're going into the holidays. Thanksgiving in the US is on Thursday. So that often means either coming together with a bunch of people and families that either are really lovely. In my case, it was often really stressful. And then also at other times in my life, it was really lonely because I didn't have a place to go. So as my gift of gratitude for the abundance I have in my life and for the growth I've experienced in my life, and all of the amazing creative and beautiful things I have as elements of my existence, I am offering a few of these free sessions, and you can get there by, yes, I almost forgot this part. Go to Calendly, CALNDLY.com/make change, all one word, make change, MAKES, again spell, MAKECHANGE, make change, right? And there you might be able to find a spot on my calendar. It's only through, I forgot, I think until December 30th. And beyond that point, or if you can't find a spot in there, reach out to me. Maybe we can make something happen. I think I'll run a paid, like a special through that time for any people that can't get into the free sessions because they're already booked up. There might not even be any left yet anymore. I'll have to check, but last I knew, I think I still had a few left. So I hope you can get on that. If not, reach out to me and we'll see what we can make happen. And I think that's it for today. I have a couple of one-to-one sessions coming up today, so I want to go take care of myself, drink lots of water, relax, feel some calm, and probably meditate a bit. Let me know what you think of that meditation I went through. That was the first time. I will be releasing some meditations in the future, as well as some of my plant music, the music made with my lovely studio plants. They might come out in time for the holidays as well. Anyway, I send you so much love. I am so grateful for you to be listening, for tuning in, and I wish for you the very, very, very best and the realization of all of your dreams. Thank you.